Ladies, Mrs. Reynolds has asked me to pass on some good news. Wentworth is officially joining the prison broadcasting service.
Oh, beauty! We'll be able to send a message to me.
Well, you will be able to send messages and request your favourite records. And if there are any budding writers amongst you, you can get together and do some sketches and that sort of thing.
The numbers draw. Oh, hooray! Come on, Cash, you pick the lucky winners.
Number 7. Hey, that's Pixie. Oh, gee, she gets lucky, doesn't she?
Now, what the hell are you on about, Stevens?
Donovan's handed out the scotch.
Rubbish, I confiscated
Just
it all.
as she planned, probably already had the supply.
How the hell would she have got it in here?
Think again, Ferguson. She's just handed it out. Well, losing your touch, boss lady. Well, you've just earned yourself a demotion. From now on, you bring the supplies in from the outside and I'll make sure there aren't any more slip-ups.
Don't you push me too far, Stevens.
I don't think I need to push you at all. In fact, I think you'd be quite happy to do as I say. You're getting a major curtains partnership. I figure it's time to round it.
If you didn't have my protection, Stevens, you'd be out of business in 5 minutes, and you know it.
And of course, there's more than that.
Just how far did you think you'd get with this, Stevens?
Thinking you're ruining it? Never mind, I've got some more copies. So you do as I say. Or else one of the tapes goes to the governor, and another one just like it to the department. Do we have a deal, Ferguson?
All right, Mitchell, where is it? Get those things off. I want the tape. Don't play silly buggers with me, Mitchell. I want what you taped in the corridor this morning.
Why don't you ask Sonia for it?
That was a copy. I want the original.
I haven't got it. She took it to make copies. I haven't got it, I tell you.
You're lying to me, Mitchell.
What are you doing to the poor girl?
It's none of your business, Donovan. And if I were you, I wouldn't try that smuggling trick again, because it won't work a second time.
Oh, really?
Maybe you've got a weak heart like Birdsworth. Perhaps we should put it to the test. When I get through with the lot of you, your lives won't be worth living.
Well done, Cass. Give me a hand with Bobby.
Don't need no one's help.
Dear Pig, are you willing to sell for 1 shilling your ring? Said the piggy, I will. So they took it away and were married next day by the turkey who lives on the hill.
It's a kid's thing. You can't use that on an adult radio show.
Oh, well, I think it's very romantic and they had a wonderful honeymoon. They dined on mince and slices of quince which they ate with a runcible spoon. Hey, Lizzie, what's runcible?
Oh, God, I don't know. I've probably gone off.
Oh, how could a spoon go off?
Oh, I'm buggered if I know. Hey, Lynn, I've got this great comedy idea. No, don't really hope it. Oh, you shut up. How do you think the idea of sending up Dad and Dave?
You mean Mum and Mabel?
Oh, yeah, good. You're a genius, man. Now, you can play Mum. Oh, Mrs. Cut it out. I was just having one of me creative moments.
Lizzie, you have a visitor.
I don't want to see him.
It's not your son.
Who is it then?
It's your grandson, Kevin. He seems a nice enough young man. He's taken a day off from school especially to see you.
Wagon it, eh? Well, that shows a bit of spirit. But a kid like that want to visit an old lag like me.
There's one way to find out, isn't there?
Well, I suppose it's worth having a look at.
Well, good luck, Lizzie. Well, what would you like to hear now?
So, you're young Kev.
Yes, Gran.
You call me Lizzie. Gran makes me feel a bit ancient.
Okay, Lizzie.
How did you find out that I was in here?
Well, I had a fair bit of trouble getting it out of Dad. When I said I wanted to come and visit you, he went all vague and pretended he couldn't remember the address of the old people's home.
Well, you can't blame him, can you?
I don't know. I reckon it's far more interesting having a gran in the jug than having some narrow-minded old prude in the home.
Well, I've never been called an old prude. An old prune, maybe.
Miss Ferguson, would you organise a search for any remaining alcohol? The amnesty's over.
Certainly, Governor.
And I'll be out for the rest of the day.
Brenda Hewitt, Governor.
Oh, thanks, Constable. Forging and uttering. Well, Hewitt, it looks as though you won't be bouncing any more cheques for a couple of years. I'll leave her in your capable hands, Miss Ferguson.
Certainly, Governor. Okay, Hewitt. Stand on that line.
I'm going bush as soon as I finish tech.
Good on you. What'll your dad say about that?
He doesn't know yet. He'll probably have a fit. But I want to look around before I start my apprenticeship.
What as?
Mechanic. I'm pretty good already.
Very handy.
I've already got this clapped out old combi I'm doing up in the garage where I work weekends. Be A1 by the time I'm ready to split.
You are a smart young fella. Reminds me of when I was young. Travel, adventure, freedom. There wasn't a station I haven't visited up north, you know.
No kidding.
True. I was a cook. Best tucker in 1,000 miles. And your granddad, he was a shearer. We had great times before the kids came along. Dancing and singing round the campfire. Sleeping under the stars at night. And waking up in the morning with a dew on us.
Sounds like you were quite a rager.
Too right. And I'll tell you what, I was even wilder before I married Blossom. You ought to get in touch with an old flame of mine called Bill Foley. We used to go croc shooting together at night up near Tennant Creek. Everybody thought we were off our rockers. I used to hold this old torch, and every time a croc put its head out of the river, I used to shine it in its beady eyes. It was so stunned it didn't know what was going on. Then Bill would slam a slug between its eyeballs. It was a crack shot, was young Bill. I reckon you'd get on well with young Bill.
Young?
Oh, good, yes, I forget. Must be over 40 years ago now. Doesn't seem like that. Suppose the poor old bugger's got one foot in the grave.
Well, why don't you give me his address anyway and I'll look him up for you?
Would you laugh? Oh.
Righto, Lizzie. Time's up.
Oh, goodness, Sam. We've only just started.
Oh, go on. We've already gone 10 minutes overtime.
You're a bit of all right, young Kev.
You're not so bad yourself, Gran.
Watch it.
Lizzie.
You'll come and see me again soon, won't you?
Oh, you bet.
Now listen to me, pet.
I'm not your pet, Granny.
A young girl like you needs a bit of help in a place like this.
Look, I've been fighting my own battle since I was 9, okay? And I don't need no old fossil telling me what to do.
Oh, you sure about that?
Oh, no. Joan Jett. Oh, the Sex Pistols. How am I going to get any more?
Have a little
What any more? I'm going to get her for this. What am I going to do?
$40 down the drain. Okay, Bobby. What's going on?
Oh, me and Sonia are going to do her like a dinner.
Who?
A freak. We caught her with her pants down this morning when we was cleaning. She thought I was listening to me music, but I was taping her all the time.
You taped Ferguson?
Yeah, and that screws up to her eyeballs and crap.
That wouldn't surprise me in the least.
And you want to know what else? It was her who done the dirty on B, and it was her that set up Cass. She's copping a nice little whack on the side, too, from them rackets.
Now, listen to me. It's all very well for you to be your own boss on the outside. It's different in here, and I don't like your chances now that she's got that tape.
She hasn't got it.
Then might I suggest that you give it to me to keep safe?
What makes you think I've got it?
Who has then?
Sonia?
Oh, well. I suppose we ought to get stuck into this mess then.
Oh, it's all right, Min. I'll do it. After all, it was my fault.
Are you sure? It's an awful lot.
Nah, it's all right. You trot along. I might even be able to save some of your wrinkle cream or something.
Oh, that's very sweet of you, dear. Thank you.
You're not very smart, are you, Bobby?
What do you mean?
I want the original tape.
I already gave it to you.
I'm not as stupid as you look. I want the original tape.
Yeah, well, I already gave you the master with them 2 copies.
You're a liar. I saw you put the tape in the machine this morning, and it's not with the ones that you gave me.
Yeah, well, haven't got it anymore, have I?
What do you mean?
Well, if you'd come in here half an hour ago, you would have seen for yourself. It was like a bloody tornado had hit the joint.
You mean the cell was searched?
Yeah. And someone, 3 guesses who, nicked that tape.
Ferguson. You stupid little fool! If you hadn't tried to cheat me, we might still have the master tape.
Hi. Come on up.
Hi. Good evening.
Thanks.
Please. Great, huh? It's got real potential.
If you say so.
Oh, come on, Mum. I thought you'd be really pleased.
But it's so dingy, there's hardly any light in here.
It'll be all right when the windows are washed.
And what do you want done with this?
Oh, thanks, Mum. You're a real doll. You won't recognise the place with a good wash and a coat of paint.
Well, let's take a proper look at it anyway.
I'm afraid it's candles tonight. Gas and power won't be connected till tomorrow.
Gas too. Well, there goes that classy gourmet meal I was going to cook you. I suppose I'll have to cart you off to a restaurant.
We could have pizza by candlelight.
Oh, my son, you are hopeless. Not even a table and chairs. Obviously, I'm going to have to take some time off tomorrow and help you get organised.
I wouldn't mind.
No, I didn't think you would. Come on. There's a little restaurant around the corner. We'll get some champagne and toast your new mansion.
You've won me.
Anyway, young Kev was telling me, who's that?
Oh, that's Brenda someone. She's an artist.
Sharing a cell with Sonia.
Brenda Hewitt. Was with the fellows gang for years. Their best forger.
As I was telling you about young Kev, oh, God, he's a
Charlton's
beauty.
back in favour again,
Oh,
eh?
I don't know about that, but he's the only one who seems to take after me when I was young. Very normal.
You're normal. Watch out, he doesn't normal himself behind bars.
He won't. He's smart. He's had an education.
I wish I'd stayed at school longer.
Yeah, I hated school. Everyone used to pick on me because I was clumsy.
Well, if I'd had more of an education, I'd know what runcible meant.
Hey, maybe this one's runcible.
It certainly looks as though it's had the runts over.
Hey, Phyllis, why don't you come and sit with us?
I was going over there.
Hey, we've had a beaut idea for the radio show. Phyllis could act the part, couldn't she?
Don't see why not.
Oh, was my idea.
Oh, come on, Lizzie. Hey, remember what you said about Duncan? Well, Phyllis could act him, eh?
Yeah, I suppose she could if she did it really well.
I've never acted before.
Oh, come on, Phyllis, it's only for fun. Have a bash. Hey, I'll help you.
Okay, then.
Hey, Mum,
Yes, Dad.
I'm off to have a beer with Duncan.
Oh, no, you're not my girl.
Boy, I'm supposed to be a bloke.
That's stupid.
Oh, shut up, you. We have to do it all over again now. Mrs. M, would you mind rolling it back, please?
Lizzie, this is the 3rd time.
Yeah, but we got to get it right, haven't we?
Well, I haven't got all night. Mason's got to read a poem yet.
Shh.
And now we proudly present the Wentworth Wombats in Mum and Mabel.
Hey, Mum.
Yes, Dad.
I'm off to have a beer with Duncan.
Oh, no, you're not my boy.
Oh, yes, I am. If Dunny can, so can I. Get that? Dunny can.
Oh, that's terrible!
Talk about kindergarten playtime.
Oh, here comes Duncan now.
Seem to have much confidence in me.
Give us some back, Granny. Granny, give us some back.
You're a little twit, Bobby. Ferguson would kill for this. You've got her future on the line. What's to stop her arranging a nasty little accident, and all that would be left of Bobby Mitchell is 3 little lines in the death notices.
Yeah, well, she never found it when she wrecked the South, did she? So how's she ever going to know I got it still?
Sometimes I think you're stupid. It's not going to take her long to work out that Sonia hasn't got it. And I don't like your chances if Sonia and Ferguson get together again.
You're the one that's stupid. Can't you see? If I've got the tape, I can make both of them do whatever I want.
There are only so many places that you can hide it in here. They'll make your life hell till they find it. And they will find it sooner or later. Now, why don't you let me give it to one of my boys on the outside to keep it safe for you?
How do I know I'll ever see it again?
You've got my word. I'll give it back when the heat's off.
What if your guy goes to the papers or something?
My boys do whatever I say. I'll make sure it's sealed in an envelope and put in a safe deposit box in the bank for you. How's that?
Okay. But if I decide I want it back, you've got to give it to me, right?
Good girl. Not a word to anyone. Stick to your story and watch your step. You're not out of danger yet, my girl.
Stevens.
I've been thinking over that little proposition of yours. There is no way I'm going to risk my neck bringing things in here for you.
Perhaps it's time for me to use the tape.
Look, the best I can do is turn a blind eye at visiting time if you've got someone to bring the stuff in.
Well, if that's the only option, I'd better take it. But I need to use the phone right now if I'm going to get things moving. Otherwise, Minnie Donovan is going to take over.
Not while I'm alive.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, officer. Could I please see the governor?
Yes, I think she's free. If you just sign in, please, over there. Mrs. Barfield, will you take Mr. Hansworth through to Mrs. Reynolds' office, please?
Yes, of course. This way, Mr. Hansworth.
Mrs. Reynolds? You're in for a surprise. It's the minister. He's on his way down now.
I'm sorry to take you by storm like this, Mrs. Reynolds.
That's all right, sir. Please sit down.
It's this Richards problem.
I'd heard he's being transferred.
It's a sorry business. Ever since you took over from Ted Douglas, we've had one disaster after another.
Has a replacement been appointed?
Not yet. What we need is someone with a right attitude. I decided I'd better come along and take a look at the prisons myself first. Get a feeling for the problem areas.
Well, of course, I'll be happy to help you in any way I can. The main problem, as far as I see it, is recidivism. No job, back to crime, back to Wentworth. But if we could train the women as secretaries, as hairdressers and so on...
I think you're absolutely right, Mrs. Reynolds. That's the most commendable idea.
Then you'll put it to the board?
Well, I don't think we'd have much luck at this point of time. Unfortunately, we're rather hamstrung by our current budget limitations. Such a scheme would be rather costly to implement.
But surely it'd eventually pay for itself by lessening the number of prisoners.
I think the board would need a guarantee of that before it undertook such a scheme.
So we're back to the chicken and egg.
Ah, don't despair. I'll certainly get the department to look into it. Now, how about a tour of the premises?
Certainly, Mr. Hansworth.
Greetings from Barnhurst. Today we welcome Wentworth to our 3 p.m. and we start the ball rolling with message time.
Oh,
First, here's a
beauty!
message
I
from
bet we
Rhonda.
get a message from
I'd just
me.
like to say hi to my old mates, especially the backgammon team. And I wish I could join them at the game on Tuesday night. And now from Joe to Sally.
Oh,
Happy
get off!
birthday.
We want to
Have
hear
one for me.
Boo.
Before our next message, here's a song requested by Chipper. I was stoned and
Oh, Sam, we won't be able to hear B now.
Be on again after tea. I'd like you to meet Mr. Harnsworth, the Minister for Corrective Services.
Pleased to meet you, sir. Mrs. Donovan.
I'm delighted to meet you, Mrs. Donovan.
You couldn't have come at a better time.
Really?
We women are very much in favour of a job training scheme to give us a better chance when we get out.
Your enthusiasm does you credit. But might I suggest you elect yourselves a delegate and put your proposal to the governor?
We've already done that.
Good, good. I'll leave it with you then.
But why aren't the department interested in rehabilitating the prisoners?
It'll be put to the board, but the budget's very tight.
That money problem's a load of old cobblers, and you know it. What about the cost of keeping us in here?
The department supports classes like pottery and basket weaving.
It's not going to make a living for anyone. They need to learn proper jobs.
The department does what it thinks best.
Oh, Mrs. Reynolds, sir. Just 2 things. Mrs. O'Regan's gone off sick, and the new warder's arrived.
Oh, David Bridges. Well, I better go and meet him. Oh, would you get Birdsworth to take over in the kitchen, please, and take Donovan back?
All right, come along, Donovan.
But we haven't finished.
That's all, Donovan.
You've lost your guts since you came here, Mrs. Reynolds.
Missy, Mrs. O'Regan's gone off sick. I want you to supervise in the kitchen for the rest of the day.
Rip that, Mrs. M. You gotta get a beauty tonight, girls.
Truth, I'm booking in for tomorrow's sick call now.
Who asked you to stick your bloody bib in?
Hey, how'd you go, Min?
No good.
Bloody Reno.
No, it's not her, it's that Harnsworth. You could tell he'd squashed the idea already.
It's not fair. We don't stand a chance of going straight when we get out of here.
Well, Rosemary did. She married a farmer.
Rosemary shouldn't have been here in the first place. She wasn't a crib.
Yeah, well, I reckon everyone bends the law.
Yeah, well, most people have a go.
It's just some get caught and others don't. Take me. I was dead unlucky. But I got mates who've been nicking stuff for years and never got sprung. What I'd done was chicken feed compared with them.
A good thief never gets caught.
You're saying I'm no good?
If you were, you wouldn't be in here.
Oh, well, maybe I would have had you teaching me granny's smart ass.
That's not such a bad idea, Bobby. In fact, it's a very good idea. If the department won't help you, I will. Auntie Minnie's going to show you a thing or two that'll keep you on the outside a long, long time.
Well, I suppose you're right, Minnie. I mean, well, if you're going to do something, well, you may as well do it properly.
You know all about that from what I hear. But don't you get bored going through the same old wedding ceremony so many times?
Oh, no, that was the best part about it. I really miss it. Oh, but then again, I did catch the wedding bouquet, so something's bound to happen.
You seem to find the broadcast from Barnhurst this morning interesting. Who's Rhonda?
It's a code name.
I realise that. Obviously somebody trying to set up some sort of transaction. What's your involvement?
Not a thing. I wouldn't mind, though. Fellows uses that name for drug drops at the prisons. There's good money in that.
So Barnhurst's going to get a little present from the fellows, Kate.
Just letting them know where and when to leave the dope.
Maybe the radio program's not such a bad idea after all.
I think you'll find Wentworth very different to working in a men's prison.
More like a holiday.
Don't underestimate these women, Mr. Bridges. They'll try anything, especially on a new male officer.
I think Mr. Bridges will cope very well. Don't you let them frighten you off before you've even started. We're really glad to see you here.
Well, if I get the same welcome from the inmates they've had from the staff, I think I'll be very happy here.
You'll get a welcome from them, all right. Pixie Mason will probably propose before you've said hello.
Yes, it's a sort of profession with her.
Unfortunately, 5 men said yes, so she married them all.
Oh, I'll try to resist her charms. You have Eddie Stevens' wife here, don't you? Did it cause any problems?
Oh, she's not the most popular person around. The women keep away from her.
Look, I've got to leave early today, but Mrs. Powell will give you the guided tour.
Looking forward to it. Would you like to go now?
Sure. I'll see you ladies later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Pixie Mason's not the only one we should have warned him about. I think all the women will think their Christmases have come at once.
Oh, I wouldn't worry too much. He can't have been in the service for 5 years without learning to take care of himself.
Well, I think the department's out of its mind sending us someone like him. The last thing we need is a pretty boy who's still wet behind the ears.
On the contrary, I think they've come up with someone who suits our needs perfectly. His references are excellent. He's obviously a compassionate young man. He will certainly be an asset to our staff lunches. We could have had someone like Arthur Richards.
Oh, I perished at thought.
Yeah, well, I give him a week. And I, for one, will be keeping an eye on him.
So will most of the women.
Caught you, Bobby. That's not fair. She knew I was going to do it.
Well, so would anyone if it took that long to get round to it.
Yeah, it's a load of crap anyway. Find yourself another Pepsi.
Now, come on, Pixie. You've got just the hands for it.
No, Minnie, I couldn't steal from people. What if I stole somebody's wallet with all the money they had left in the world?
That's not the idea at all, dear. This is merely a nimble finger exercise for shoplifting. Heavens, I wouldn't expect anyone to go round stealing from other people. Only the big stores. They can afford it.
If you put it that way, I suppose it would help until I did get married again.
Well, they don't give us much encouragement to go straight, do they? The department is too tight-fisted to let us learn a proper job and lets the public foot the bill while we scrub corridors and push laundry skips.
Yes, but if we get caught, we'd end up back in here.
Pixie, only amateurs get caught. When I'm through with you, you'll all be professionals.
Forgery. Well, it's a nice change from the likes of Lizzie Birdsworth and B. Smith.
Oh, yes, Smith. I thought she was top dog around here.
She was, till she found some real opposition.
So what happened to her?
Someone organised a transfer to Barnhurst. It's no different in here. It's still who your friends are.
You must introduce me to your connections.
But I thought you had them with the fellows' gang.
The bell isn't new to you, Stevens. Why aren't you on your way?
Well, hello. Who's the spunk?
Mr. Bridges, Stevens, Hewitt. Hewitt's new, so why don't we forgive her lapse this time?
Is it Sonia Stevens?
That's right.
I think I know your husband.
You probably do. He's in the same line of work.
He's a good policeman, nice guy. Well, mustn't hold you up. Nice to have met you, ladies.
We'll be in the laundry in 5 minutes. Be there before us.
But of course, Mrs. Pearl.
So, you're that Stevens.
Yes. Worried about sharing your cell with a cop's wife?
It's your other activities I'm interested in.
Oh?
Yeah, you're a pretty smart cookie. Looks like I got lucky with my cellmate. Come on, let's get down to the laundry. I don't want to miss meeting that new screw all over again.
Lose something, Pixie?
No?
Oh, you never felt a thing, did you, Pig?
No, that was very good. You'll have to teach me to be as good as you.
Oh, geez, your face looks funny, Pig.
And you can imagine the kind of mentality that finds laundry work a joke.
Oh, how depressing. I wonder how they fix for office staff.
I don't think they'd let you write out the leave passes, dear, not with your special towel.
Word gets around fast, doesn't it?
It certainly does. But keep your eyes and your ears open. There are a few light-fingered types about, too.
All right, attention. Put them down, Parker. Now, I want you all to meet Officer Bridges. He's on staff as of today. I won't introduce you individually, as I'm sure you'll soon become familiar enough.
Oh, Mrs. Pearl.
Well, it seems like a pretty good atmosphere in here, am I right?
Oh, yes, I feel wonderful at the moment. Thank you very much.
You must be Pixie Mason.
How did you guess? Did you read about me in the newspapers?
Down, Mason.
That looks pretty heavy work. Did you take it in shifts?
Oh, no, I really like it.
Stop the enthusiasm, Parker.
I didn't think remand prisoners had to work.
Donovan asked to be put on the roster.
Oh, yes, dear. I'd be bored to death sitting in a cell all day.
And idleness is the tool of the devil, right?
Now that's the spirit. And I enjoy the company. You wouldn't believe it, what we learn from each other, Mr. Bridges.
Now I can see why there's such a good working spirit in here. I've always thought myself, the easier we make it for each other, the better. And obviously you agree.
Well, if that's the way you feel about it, why don't you organise breakfast in bed for the ladies?
It's not good for the digestion. Or the figure, Stevens.
Yes, well, would you like to move on, Mr. Bridges?
Yes, of course. Well, it's nice to have met you, ladies.
Bye.
Get to work.
Oh, he's gorgeous.
Yeah, he got a real nice smile, hasn't he?
But he's no fool, I'd say.
Still, overall, I'm most impressed. The maternity conditions are excellent.
Well, it was quite a battle getting the improvements, believe me.
Yes, and now they're just a little too comfortable. Most of them seem to have forgotten why they're here in the first place.
But isn't that a good thing? After Woodridge, I thought I'd become inured to seeing human beings behind bars, but when the prisoners are female, that's a different matter.
Why? They're as capable of crime as their male counterparts. Surely, Mr. Bridges, you don't think that a few chats with a social worker is going to reform a confirmed crim?
I think prison's a pretty poor substitute, but I don't profess to have the answers, no, Miss Ferguson. All the same, I'd hate to see my own mother behind bars. Well, perhaps we could run through the general procedures, Colleen, if first names are okay.
Of course. But only for some of us, Mr. Bridges.
Doesn't take much to make our Pixie happy.
That's usually the case when there's not much grey matter.
Now, don't you underestimate our Pixie. The trouble is, like most of the women in here, she hasn't got enough to keep her occupied.
What do you call this, recreation?
I'm talking about free time. Boredom's about the worst enemy in here. Of course, you wouldn't have that trouble. You'll be practicing your artistic talents, won't you?
You're about as subtle as a sledgehammer, aren't you?
It's a talent I wouldn't mind having. I bet you got the best school reports in town.
Yes, actually I did. And Mum never woke up that they were forged.
Well, you'd have to be good, dear. Mr. Fellows doesn't mess with amateurs.
Now, how'd you make that connection?
I've been doing my homework. Now, how would you like to pass on some of your talents to the girls?
You've got to be joking.
I'm not. Let's face it. The more expert we can make them, the more independent they'll be.
Forget it.
Oh. Scared of a little competition, eh?
Not at all. I'm just a bit choosy about the company I keep.
You could have fooled me. I've got a very good idea. I'll show you tonight after tea, okay, Pixie?
Oh, yeah, right, Min.
Yes, dear. Will you stand in a stooge for me again?
Oh, yeah, sure thing, Min. It's real good fun.
Ah, that's the girl.
Oh, jeez, Min, I didn't get you, did I?
No, dear. Nearly had a few hot tips, though.
Yeah? Hey, we're going to start a book, too.
Oh, no wonder you didn't let me see this place before you rented it.
Come on, Mum, you're loving every minute of it. But you do understand me wanting my own place.
Of course I do. Just that I wish you'd got yourself engaged to some nice young girl who adores housework and let her help you clean it up. And then invite me to dinner.
Well, I figured springing the flat on you was a big enough shock for starters. Besides, you need the exercise.
What?
Well, sitting behind that desk all day is the surest way of putting weight on.
I'm not putting on weight. Am I?
Well, that job and your busy love life.
Oh, well, that's enough on that subject, young man.
I've told you before. I think Molly's a really nice guy.
Well, in that case, why don't you give him a ring and tell him to drop into a deli on his way here, because by the time I'm finished, I am going to be desperate for food and drink. Oh, yuck! And insecticide, you've got cockroaches.
Shh. Don't tell the landlord. They're pets.
Oh, get out of here.
May I come in?
Oh, yes, of course, dear.
What's all the finger flexing for? Big concert tonight, eh?
That'll be a sight for me at the Albert Hall. No, dear, something a lot less romantic than that, I'm afraid.
Oh?
Just a touch of arthritis, rubbing the cream in works wonders.
Have you seen the doctor about this?
Oh, good heavens, no, it's just a little bit of a twinge. Expect that at my age.
Here, let me do that. I'm quite the expert, even though I do say so myself.
Oh, all right.
Now, you tell me if I'm hurting.
Oh, no, dear, no. That's lovely, lovely. You must have had a lot of practice.
Yes, my mother had it pretty badly.
She must have found you a great comfort. Well, that's wonderful now. Don't want to hold you up. You must be busy. This being your first day and all.
Let me look at those fingers first. I learned a trick that worked wonders with the joints in my mother's fingers.
Ow!
It hurts at first, Minnie, but the relief is really worth it.
Yeah, well, thanks all the same, dear, but I think I'll stick to my creams. Look, it really isn't bad. I hardly noticed at all.
You let me know if it gets any worse, won't you?
I will.
All right.
I didn't know better. I'd think that everyone was trying to put me out of business.
You're kidding.
Nope. Ask me straight out. Can you imagine giving lessons in forgery? I mean, you either got the knack or you haven't.
She's a shrewd one. I wonder what she's really up to.
From what I've gathered, she's training them in the art of shoplifting so they can look after themselves when they get out. I guess the forgery's for those who don't pass the test.
Gotta give her 5 out of 10 for enterprise.
She's holding lessons after dinner if you're interested.
I'm sure I can find something more interesting to do.
You're not waiting for me, are you, Stevens? I thought I made everything quite clear at our last meeting.
Just heard something that might interest you.
Don't play games with me, Stevens. Out with it.
Donovan's up to something. She's planning to turn the inmates into professional thieves. Yeah, it might be worth your while to drop by the rec room after dinner.
What for? She's not breaking any rules.
You're missing the point. Look, if she gets away with this, she'll have the women eating out of her hands, and that's not good for business.
All right. She'll probably have someone keeping knit on the door, so it'll be up to you to create some sort of diversion. Then I can come in and put an end to her game.
Well. You still need my help, don't you?
You've got your uses.
And you owe me another one.
Well, I think it was very sweet of him. He's a very nice young man.
Yeah, but what'd you have to tell Pixie about the massage for? She'll be aching all over by lights out, demanding his personal attention.
Actually, I have had an awful headache for ages. Well, no, honestly.
You must be losing your touch, Pixie. I thought you'd at least need mouth to mouth.
Didn't think of that. What a good idea.
You just behave yourself, Pixie. Now, if we go carefully, I think we'll find Mr. Bridges very lenient in lots of ways, and that'd suit us nicely.
Yeah, we had another screw here for a while, Steve Faulkner. He started out strict, but he's certainly mellowed. Used to treat Lizzie like his own mother.
Where is Lizzie?
Lying down.
Hey, she said she didn't want no tea.
No. She's fretting over B. I know how she feels. It's not the same without her.
All the more reason to keep everyone busy. Mind you, if Mr. Bridges treats us well, we must all play the game. If he bends the rules for us, then we've got to see that he doesn't get into trouble over it.
Well, I reckon he's a poofter.
What? Never mind, dear. Well, he doesn't strike me that way.
Hey, I know what a poofter is, Pix.
Eat your tea, Cass.
Well, whatever he is, he's better looking than the freak.
Well, I reckon they're two of a kind.
But you've still got connections with the fellows, gang.
Well, you never know when you need a friend.
You know, I don't think we'd have any trouble selling dope in here now that B. Smith's gone. Do you think we'd get a slice of the action from Barnett?
They'll deliver if we can come up with the cash. Of course, we'll have to work out something between us.
Of course.
It'd help to have a screw on side, too. Wonder if Bridges is approachable.
Forget him, we've already got Ferguson.
I wouldn't trust her as far as I could spit.
Don't worry, I have, to coin a phrase, got her taped. She'll do as she's told.
Right. Out with the old. Well, not meaning you two, of course. What are you going to say?
Well, the end of an era for me. The start of real independence for him.
He's not going to Siberia, you know.
I know. I remember when I left home, I took this really awful bedsit and my parents nearly had a fit when they saw it. I thought it was wonderful.
Well, this is Buckingham Palace. Ask Paul.
Yes. It's just, I'll miss having him round.
I'll be there.
I know. I'm glad.
How much?
Sorry, Judy. Yes, I did.
Well, I'll be damned. Hey, you got a winner here, Min.
I didn't really know.
Oh, good on you, Pixie. I knew you'd be my star pupil.
You didn't feel a thing, did you, Judy?
No, just a bit of whiplash and a couple of broken ribs.
Hey, that's my pen.
Hey, see, Minnie, I'm a winner too.
You thieving bitch. Give her one.
Okay, break it up, you two.
She took my pen.
I was only doing what she told me to.
Well, Donovan, been doing a bit of tutoring, have you? All right, you lot, the party's over. Get back to your cells.
Oh, come on, the bell hasn't even gone
I
yet.
said get moving.
Oh, you and your bloody bright ideas.
Mitchell, any more of that mouth and you'll be on a charge.
Take it easy, Miss Ferguson, or Mrs. Reynolds might get to hear a very interesting little message. On tape.
Wait there, Donovan. Get out, Parker. I said get out. All right, Donovan, give me the tape.
I haven't got it on me, have I, dear?
Where is it?
In the dorm.
Don't fool with me, Donovan. I've just looked there.
That's why I figured it was safe to put it back.
You better not be lying to me, Donovan. Now move. Out, Mitchell.
What to do now?
I said get out. Find the tape, Donovan.
Oh, I've got to think. I've had to move it so often. Oh, no, I put it in that cupboard before the search. Oh!
Now you find it, or you get more of the same.
Don't do it. It's not worth the trouble you'll get into.
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again. But that was on the outside, and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines, and the rain falls down. But the sun and rain are prisoners too when morning comes around. Last night I dreamed we were together, sharing all the love we'd known, till I had to face the nightmare of waking up alone. On the inside the roses grow, they don't mind the stony ground, but the roses here are prisoners too when morning comes around.